Howdy. I don't think I did a video of the frame in the car, but we got the frame in the car. And then I've gone through and did some MIG welding along the edge here, like I said, and just those bolts all bolted in with some nylock nuts, if you can see them. No, you can't really, don't worry. Yeah, and then come along and we've done the sills, MIG welded all of that along in there, and there, and that little crevice in there, and the floor. I'm thinking we might just cut the floor out, leave a bit of an edge, but cut it out so I can hammer it right up, get it nice and close before we weld that up. And yeah, fuck, nearly there. As soon as I get that sorted, we can put the engine in. I mean, I can put the engine in now, I suppose, before I weld it, but no, we'll finish welding that frame to the floor and then we'll put the engine in. Alright, me again, I tell a lie. I went around with the hammer and I got it pretty close. It's also tick screwed up through the floor and into the frame, so that's pretty close. I think we'll weld all of that we can and then cut the floor out, because I don't want to cut the floor out twice. Here you go, here's the tick screws along the bottom of the frame. And, oh yeah, so that's where I welded that up, giving it all a coat of paint, so it's all beautiful as well. So that was TIG welded. And yeah, everything is coming together.
Few inches later.
So hands up if you thought that I'd finished cutting this car up. Nope, not the case. I've got all my welds done along the floor there. Cut the floor out. She's pretty solid, which is cool. So we're going to put a little bar across here, just for some extra support in the floor. And we'll probably give her something to fix seats to and whatnot. And then she needs a little bit of a paint up before this starts to rust. Mint. Before Corona, we had masks for painting and dust and stuff. Anyway, this is all done. I painted all of this, tidied it all up, all the edges around here, because everything seems to rust really quickly after you weld it. So I've done that now, and yeah, contemplating just putting the engine in now, making sure everything is all good, and I can do this part later. But I do have a fear that once I do that, this thing is not going to sit on the hoist very well anymore. It's going to be all heavy at the back. I love this. So much room in here for activities. Look at that. So there'd be a big engine there, and then two people sitting there, and then nothing here. Yep, so I mean that's enough for tonight. I'll hit you back soon. So yeah, I realised those MIG welds that I did from the frame to the floor, to the chassis of the car, they're not the prettiest. I actually started MIG welding the night before. On my new MIG welder, never done it before, so just ran a couple of lines and thought, yep, we're sweet. Just checked out the amps that I needed and whatnot to weld that sheet steel to the 3mm frame, and yeah, then just went for it, just sent it. They're pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with them. They just look a bit bird poopy. I mean, really, probably pretty good considering, because I've had some practice with TIG, but yeah, that was my first go on MIG, so we'll work on that a little bit more, but that'll do the trick.
Later.
Oh, hell yeah, boys, check this out. Frame is in, engine's bolted in, As suspected though, it's too heavy in the back and it's coming off the hoist. So I'm going to put some wheels on the front, see if that's enough. But what I'd probably end up doing is putting wheels on the back too and wheeling it forward a bit, reposition it on the hoist and then lift it back up again. So yeah, I'll hit you with a video of it going in the air and the engine going with it. That's a milestone. Boom, check this out. It's in. It's floating. Fantastic. Now we did have a little bit of a problem here. I put the thing there and bent the sill to shit. Yeah, it's just a light little body, I guess. It didn't like the weight. Same happened on the other side, but just not as bad. So we just moved the jack up points onto the subframe itself. Yeah, it's sitting on there pretty solid. So cool. I couldn't put the back wheels on because they touch. So I did think this was going to be the case. I don't know if I mentioned before, but we're going to put some spacers on here. I'll have to do a little bit of measuring soon and see. I don't know, if it's 20 mil, 25 mil, whatever. Just so it doesn't rub. But otherwise, I think this should fit pretty well. Hang on, let me have a look. Obviously not bolted on, but that's where it sits. That's on the studs. There's a bit of a gap in there. Never mind that, because it hits the guard. But you know, it's centered quite well actually. And you really need to put the bumper back on too, don't I? But look, that's a car. All right, next shot. I'm going to push it outside, and it's got wheel spacers on it. Push it outside, take some pics. You can see what it looks like as a roller. Well boys, that's it. Wheels on, sitting on the ground. I stole some spacers from the RAV. That's the way it's going to look. Nice and tight, sitting low. In the back at least. It's monster trucking in the front. Funny story, it's only like 10 mil higher from the sill to the ground in the front than it is in the back. It actually sits quite level, but because it's got the tiny little itty bitty wheels, we have a double fisting situation in there. And now I have a difficult choice, because I would like to slam that down. So that gap's like 140. I would like to drop it down at least 100. So there's just a little gap, and I think that would look cool. That would look very, very hot rod. But I feel like if I left it like that, it's going to wheelie easier than if I dumped it right down. So I might have to sleep on this. It doesn't look cool. But yeah, maybe we just need to trial it out. Try to do some wheelies. See if it does wheelies to start with. And go from there. Difficult situation. Looks like I've got a bit of sun today. Yeah, let me know what you think. Well, I promised you boys, there she is, out getting some sun in all her glory. Complete roller. So there's the Camry V6 auto transmission. That's the stance on the back wheels now, solid mounted. Front still jacked up. Like I said, if you look at it, it's still reasonably level, the body. It's just little 12-inch wheels on the front and no weight, so she's a bit monster trucking. where the engine used to be. Booster for the front brakes only. The interior, I had to put a steering rack on, a steering wheel, just to get it in and out nicely. No floor yet, we will be working on that. But yeah, try to push the steering wheel back as far as possible, so I'm as far back as possible. Help with the wheelies, you know. I might have to do something here to remount that steering wheel down a bit more, just because it's pretty high, takes up half the windscreen. But yeah, this is 3VZ FE in the back. That's pretty badass from the back, doesn't it? The bumper on now, got the tail lights on for you to make it look a little bit nicer. And that's what she's looking like. Well, I hope you like that little outside clip of the wheelie car, because this is how I have to struggle to get it back into the garage by myself.